All right, so hey, my name is Abby Alvin. I am a senior account manager and recruiter at Climate People. We have the greatest job. We get to bring folks of all strokes into climate across the board. And I have Rachel Palazzo here, who I just placed as the finance manager with our client Cambium Carbon, and we're so excited. So pumped for you, Rachel. And at Climate People, I think I relay this message to you, but really we're just passionate about getting more folks into climate, right? It doesn't matter where you come from, what your background is, everything is applicable into climate, right? Every company needs marketing, sales, finance, engineering, C-suite. So we're here to make it happen, and we're so happy to have you in finance now. So could you just maybe share a little about your journey before even meeting Climate People of trying to get into the climate space?
Okay, yeah. I didn't even know that Climate People was a thing until Brendan reached out to me. So that was really interesting when he reached out and said that you guys recruit for green companies, because I had not heard of that before. And I'm just finance accounting, so I never really thought that that was kind of an area that I could really help in. So yeah, I ended up meeting with Cambium, and we had 3 interviews, and now I'm going to be working for Cambium.
That's amazing. And funny enough, you say that you're like, I didn't even know my skill set was applicable. While meanwhile, Cambium was really itching and scratching to get the right fit to come in and join them. And so you're right, like you're going to make more of an impact than you even probably realize at the moment. And they're so beyond stoked to have you. They all individually messaged me of how excited they are to have you. So it's really cool. Were there any like key resources that you found helpful to navigate your way into climate, or even just like through the interview process once you had started the process with us?
I think it was really helpful, those emails that you would send me with like their LinkedIn profiles, just having those links ahead of time, being able to just click on them and kind of get a little more background on who I was talking to was really helpful.
Great.
Yeah. So, Rachel, I know you said that you didn't even know that green jobs or climate jobs were a thing before you started in this process, but I know you'll probably have a stronger grasp on this in a few months. But how does it feel to transition from a traditional like finance market into something that is giving back to the planet?
Oh, it's exciting, it's a little nervous. My other position, I was working in satellites, so it was a kind of a completely different realm. So yeah, I guess I would say I'm just excited to kind of hit the ground running with them.
That's awesome. Yeah, we talked to so many job seekers who don't have that climate experience, but then they have other experience, like yours is your experience in satellite and finding ways to apply those skills to this space. I think it oftentimes goes really unnoticed how transferable they are. So that's awesome. Can you touch a little bit more on what you'll be doing in your role?
Okay, yeah. So I'm going to be the finance manager for Cambium. So I'll be reporting directly to their CFO. I'll be helping them set up all of their standard operating procedures, helping them get their books running, I guess more accurate, and kind of combining the financials of their recent acquisition that they just had.
Awesome. And you'll probably have a stronger grasp on this again in a few months or a few
Oh
weeks.
yeah, for sure. Once I
What
get in there.
what exactly does Cambion do?
Um, that's a good question, right?
Abby can fill in too.
How do I spark notes version this? So Cambium, I like to say, is they're in the lumber industry. They are lumber, like they're focused on carbon smart wood. So one of the things that they mentioned that I think is really cool is, instead of, trees being hauled off to like a landfill or something when a disaster hits, they're going to work with the local supply chain to get those trees and save them from rotting in a landfill and creating more carbon, and turning that into furniture and building materials like flooring. So it's really neat. It's not an area that I knew much about until I actually talked to them.
Yeah.
She did a great job. Yep, very, very accurate. Yep, they're saving trees
That's
from the
awesome.
landfill, and the supply chain. They're partnering with folks like millers and architects, cities and businesses, and yeah, building furniture and making beautiful products out of this recycled wood. And also they're in the back end, it's not that they're most famous for, but they have a system, like their own SaaS like tool that you can utilize to sell wood and so that's like a little lumber purchase yard, if you will, online, which is neat. I didn't know that existed until more recently also. So
Yeah. That's awesome. Rachel, do you have any advice for people who would be like in a non-climate industry in a similar field to you that want to get a job in this space? What would you recommend that they do?
For me, I got lucky because it kind of fell into my lap with Brendan.
Mhm.
But I think just being open and willing to kind of talk to these type of companies, don't like write them off just because they're not huge companies. I think that's probably the best advice. When I first heard of Cambium, I had no idea that would be my next workplace until I was able to kind of talk to a lot of the people there that were really impressive.
Yeah, that's awesome. I feel like that's really good advice, is like give it the time of day, even if you don't know the name, because you might know the name soon, and getting your foot in the door early is huge for sure. Could you touch on your experience working with climate people?
Okay, yeah. Well, Brendan was the first person to reach out to me. It was actually, I think, a holiday. I think it was MLK Day. He reached out to me. I was working, and so he was working. But he messaged me on LinkedIn, and he was like, "Hey, I'm recruiting for this finance manager role. We recruit specifically for green companies." And I thought that was interesting. I hadn't heard that before. So I was like, okay. So then I reached out and we talked a little bit. And we decided to move forward. But yeah, and then I got turned over to Abby, who was really communicative, pretty great. Um, yeah, I mean, it was good. I've worked with other recruiters before, um, and I wouldn't say they usually have the best rep. It feels like they're not always have your interest at heart. And so I would say this was a better experience than some of the other ones I've had to deal with.
well, good. That makes me happy to hear. I try to make a unique experience for everyone and look out for my client and the candidate at the same time and synchronize everyone on the same page. So thanks for that, Rachel. Well, obviously, we're really excited about the fact that we get to place folks into climate, but our mission is also aligned with our 1% for the Planet program. So we donate 1% of every placement fee to an environmental nonprofit that supports our D&I initiative. So I know that we sent you a list of the nonprofits that we have as options that we partner with. And so I was curious if you've chosen the one that you'd like to donate to.
Yes, I wanted to do the recently added Browning the Green Space.
Amazing. It's a good one. Not a big fan now. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, you'll be the first donation going to them. So that's awesome. And yeah, like Abby said, we'll donate that in your name. So thank you for not only getting a job in the space, but for donating to their incredible initiatives, because they really are doing incredible work to make sure the space is as inclusive as it should be.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And Rachel, we're so excited to see all that you're going to accomplish over there. And again, the position was very much needed, and they can't wait to have you on the team. And it's fun for climate people. We really did start off as mainly tech, focused, staffing a lot of engineers, product, and we've really expanded and have gotten into, like I said, finance, accounting, true like engineering, like mechanical engineering, and sales and marketing and what have you. And it's fun to be able to work with different folks, and you've been such a pleasure. So thank you for taking the time to chat with us, and thanks for the work that you're about to do for Cambium. And I can't wait to work together, hopefully in the future, and build you a strong team.
Yep. Thank you for all the help, guys.
Yeah. Cheers.